Hi, my name is Ethan Buck, and I like good food, lifting weights, and martial arts. I want to share with you how I use those three things to go from a 300+ pound degenerate party animal who was even occasionally homeless to becoming a lean, mean, fighting machinist. Welcome to Food, Fitness, and Fisticuffs. All right, we are at CrossFit CBE, CrossFit Bristol East, with my friend Tash. Say hello, Tash.
Hi.
Hey, so we've known each other for a long time now, right?
Yeah. Christ, at least 15 years it's got to be, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd say the last time that we met up, we were not doing something as productive as working out together, probably.
Absolutely not.
We used to live that kind of crazy party punk rock lifestyle, right?
Yeah, 100%. I doubt we saw each other sober, to be fair.
I think that's probably very true. I don't remember seeing you sober, so yeah. Wow. Anyhow, I think it's really cool that we're meeting up and doing something like this instead of just going to the pub or a show and getting drunk and then not remembering the fun that we had.
Absolutely.
So, and it's also really cool to see people from kind of our background come out of that, because you know it's fun, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it when you can do it when you're younger, but some people are still stuck in it and they're not happy, they're not healthy.
No.
So it's really cool to see that you've gotten out of it and you're doing something like this.
Yeah, and I love it. It gives me the endorphins that I guess I used to get from drinking, but I don't get the hangover, and it's a release for me. I love it.
Awesome, cool. So of course we're going to get into CrossFit, something that I don't typically do. So you're going to see this small female probably beat the shit out of me.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's conditioning and then there's CrossFit conditioning. And I know a lot of people in like the lifting community, like bodybuilding or powerlifting, have some criticisms towards CrossFit, but I've always had a tremendous respect towards them. They're some of the fittest people on the planet. They might not be the biggest and the strongest, but then again, the biggest and the strongest aren't the fittest, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great combination of everything, I think. I used to do CrossFit many years ago, and I stopped because I just had other pursuits, but what is our workout today?
We're going to be doing Fran, which is a classic CrossFit benchmark workout, one of the girls. So we're going to be doing thrusters. The RX weight, so the prescribed weight for the workout, is 43 kilos for the guys and 30 kilos for the girls, so for me. And we're going to be doing 21 thrusters into 21 pull-ups. They can be done however you want to do them. CrossFitters will butterfly or kip them. Ethan will possibly do them strict, but we'll have a go at teaching him how to kip. We start with the thrusters, 21 thrusters, 21 pull-ups, 15 thrusters, 15 pull-ups, 9 thrusters, 9 pull-ups, 4 time. Okay,
so what time frame do you expect this to be done in?
So, I mean, the pros will get it done in like easy sub 3 minutes. My time, I don't know off the top of my head, is not super, especially not with the RX weight. I would say around 7 minutes for me.
7 minutes. Okay.
And I would say, intermediate is probably 7 to 10 minutes. All right. We'll go with.
I can be pretty competitive, but I am tired today, and I was getting my excuses in earlier. I'm going to take breaks to move the camera around, so I'm going to cheat a little bit just for the footage.
Nope.
Well, then it'll be a bad video.
But they won't see the full workout in action.
Accountability sucks. All right, let's get into kipping pull-ups. Let's see if this fat guy can do kipping pull-ups.
Okay, so we're going to start with the hollow arch, which is the basis for the kipping pull-up. So we're going to get onto the rig, we're going to hang, and I'm going to get you to go into that arch position, hollow, arch, hollow. So arch, your feet are going to come behind you when you're in that arch position. When you're in that hollow position, feet are going to come slightly in front. Do that. I'm going to go arch, hollow. Initiate with the shoulders. Use those shoulders and lats. Nice, that's it. Yeah, he's got it. And now we're going to get that little drive which brings you up over and gets your chin over the bar. So you're going to do that hollow arch, and then there's a little kip, and that's where you're going to use your hips to bring your hip closer to the bar, and then a pull towards the end to get your chin over.
What is that, during the hollow or the arch, that kip?
So it will happen, I'll have to do it to think about it.
During the arch.
No, it's the hollow.
Oh, okay.
Hollow, yeah, it's there. It's
All right.
in the, as you come into the hollow, then the hips, I can't do it slow motion. Yeah, it's that hollow hip. So almost like you sort of start going back into the arch and then pull. So, that's it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Right, go again. Really use those hips. They are. Right. So next thing, we're gonna, at the moment, you're getting your chin over the bar and then you're dropping down, which isn't allowing you to go straight into the next rep.
Yeah.
So this time, chin over the bar. Just hold your chin over the bar for a second so you can think about it. And then what you're gonna do is push the bar away from you so you can come straight back out into that arch. So up here, and then you're gonna push.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Push. That's it.
Am I doing them?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
I kind of feel like if I was like a fat fish flopping around on the line.
Yeah.
Like you just caught like a fat bass and it's just doing that. You know, get up to a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do those. I never really understood them.
Oh, well, yeah, that was it. There's like some tweaks that could be made for sure, but you've got the basics down, definitely.
I might revert back to regular pull-ups during the workout.
Yeah, fine.
But I'm gonna give these a try because they're new and I've never been able to do them, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool.
Thrusters?
Thrusters, all right.
Right, so thruster. Done a thruster before, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that not everyone is familiar with what a thruster is, but it's essentially that front squat down and then up and arms extend overhead. So when you come to do the workout and you're picking up the barbell, you can pick it up in a number of different ways. So you can clean it up, get into that position and then go down into your thruster, or you can squat clean it. So you can start from like that will count towards your first thruster. So movement standards, you want to come below parallel, so hip crease below knee crease, and then as you stand, drive through your heels, big push overhead, elbows locked out overhead, and then we're just letting the weight of the barbell go down.
21 of those. Brutal.
Good boy.
All right.
Right, let's check your standards. Nice, solid depth. Easy.
So this Olympic style grip here resting on the delts,
Yeah.
how do you press from here?
So it's probably where your lats are tight,
Okay.
and like you should be able to get a full grip on that barbell. And then some people, like it is quite common for people to like, a lot of the guys have especially that decreased mobility in that position. So for the thruster, you'll see just quite a quick turnaround from fingertips to a full grip.
Okay.
And that's literally all you can do.
Because you can see from here, I can get my elbows up pretty high and rest it.
Yeah.
But if I were to press, I'm pressing, that barbell's on my fingers. And for basic strength, you want that barbell basically at the end of your forearms, right? In your palms. So I can't really do thrusters from, or presses from there, but I can manipulate it a little bit, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So you can, I've seen people do it with literally, so they're in that sort of front rack position and it's literally on fingertips, but as they come up, they're just so quick at switching it into a full grip, which I think just comes naturally over time.
Yeah, it's just a small transitional period from the front rack position to the press.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're just gonna incrementally add load until we get to working weight, and then we'll get into the workout.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. It's time to get to work. All right, if I die, it's your fault.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Roll it off.
Yep. Back to 4th.
What is the science behind this?
This feels nice.
It just feels good.
Yeah. Shut my eyes.
All right. I love how competitive people get. So I just told Natasha about a contest I did not too long ago with about 12 to 15 friends, I can't remember. But it was how many pull-ups you can do with 10% of your body weight. And we just finished a short and sweet, kind of brutal workout. And she's like, I want to try and beat you. So I love it. All right, let's go. You're on. You're up. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least one more.
Come on, come on, come on. Pull.
Up, 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 up. Nice. All right.
Count. 5.
5.
I'm disappointed.
You shouldn't be. I mean, I think that's really good for female standards. Most females can't do one without without the extra weight. So.
Do you want to see me do pull-ups with no weight?
Awesome. Good job. I'm not doing it again. I already proved myself. All right, well, thanks for that. That's very humbling to try different training styles.
You're welcome.
You know, there's being in condition, like you can run and just do some bodybuilding, maybe some powerlifting or strength training. But when you combine it all together, the conditioning, it kind of reminds me of like jujitsu. Like if I go from Muay Thai, I can be conditioned in that. But then when I go and like grapple with somebody and you have that cardio element, it kind of feels like if you did some strength training but added the cardio at the same time. It's like challenging all these different systems at once.
Yeah.
I feel like a big baby, actually.
But I think that's why I love CrossFit, because you've got all the different elements. You've got the gymnastics, you've got the engine, your endurance, you've got the strength, and it's a sport that can lend itself to anyone. Like no matter what your kind of niche is, you can get better at all of it, but everyone's got a bit that they are good at.
Yeah, for sure. I was just talking about, if you look at strongman, there's the guys that win events that are based on strength, right? And that is strongman, you should be strong. But they lose in conditioning, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd imagine you have similar in CrossFit, where you have ones that are like, they're really good at the conditioning, but they're not so strong, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's all about tinkering and finding those weak points and working on them.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. My hands are torn up. My heart rate went through the roof for, I don't know how long we did that. Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So now you're vegan, right?
I am.
Yeah,
I
so
am.
we're gonna go and get some vegan food. We're gonna taste it, we're gonna review it, and we're gonna talk about being a vegan athlete.
Yes.
Awesome. So,
yeah,
like I said, 2 things that I don't typically do, vegan food and CrossFit, but you gotta get out of your comfort zone and try new things before you criticize them, right?
Indeed,
Yeah,
indeed.
cool. All
Let's
right.
go eat.
Let's go eat. But first, let's do a little bit of exploring in Bristol. I don't fit in here. Whoever built this didn't lift weights, I'll tell you that much. Well, I guess they lifted stones, that's probably not true. But I'm literally shoulder to shoulder in here. Woo! So you know what's interesting is that I've been to Bristol many times, but I've never really been here just for the sake of visiting. I've always been here with a punk band or on tour or to see another band. So it was just straight to the venue, the pub, the club, and playing music, getting drunk, spending loud nights, and maybe sleeping on a kitchen floor if you're lucky, and then maybe sleeping for 2 or 3 hours, back in the van, rinse and repeat every day for several weeks in a row. It's fun when you can do it when you're younger, but it's definitely not something that's sustainable for a very long time if you want to live for very long and have a good quality of life. So on that note, I used to live that lifestyle with many people, but in particular, we used to party with Tash and her husband Pete, and it's really cool to reconnect with them today after so many years of living like that, to do something productive instead of destructive. Mobile fitness, that's great.
Yeah, that's doing well.
All right, so we're at a vegan restaurant called Pastan in Bristol with Pete and Tash. Pete is an old friend of mine from the punk rock days, and I don't know if you remember, but we actually used to write each other letters.
We did.
And send each other cassette tapes.
We did.
Yeah, great. So we're talking about protein as a vegan, and you said you get about 120 grams of protein a day.
I do, yeah. So that's my aim.
Your aim.
Yeah.
So what are you getting that protein from?
Predominantly soya, I
Soya.
would say. So breakfast is nearly always porridge or oatmeal, I think you Americans call it,
Yeah.
with soya milk, usually like chia seeds or something else, protein shake, and then lunch, some sort of protein source and a bagel. So usually that sometimes is beans or pulses or grains, but usually again like tofu or something like that. Evening meal, again, always like some sort of protein source, usually a meat, a replacement meat, so some sort of fake meat. But I try not to like have, there's lots of different brands and some are more highly processed than others, so I tend to go for one that's got like less fat, less calories, less shit in it, and then I always have an evening snack of soya yogurt with protein granola.
Okay, so it sounds like you're eating a good 4 to 5 times a day.
Yes.
Okay, and you find it difficult to, like we were talking about earlier, get protein in that doesn't come with an abundance of carbs and fats, because a lot of vegan protein sources apart from the soy are either a carb source with some protein or a fat source with some protein. So do you find it hard to control your calories and macros in total, or are you just kind of eating like whatever you can?
I definitely did to start off with. It was really, I thought that just beans alone was enough. I thought, yeah, I'm getting plenty of protein, because people always asked me, especially when I first started CrossFit, like, how do you get your protein? I was like, beans. And it wasn't until I educated myself through food tracking that I realised that no, I wasn't getting anything from the beans. Probably like, I think 40 grams of protein a day I was pretty much taking in. So yeah, I think I do have to rely on soya. If I couldn't eat soya, I'd find it very difficult to get that amount of protein in.
Yeah, so you struggled to get enough protein in the beginning because you weren't aware of how much you were eating in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's why tracking is important, and awareness precedes change. All right, we just ordered a bunch of foods. I don't think it's very protein heavy here, but it looks great. So let's see what they bring us. All right, so I got what's called an omni tuna salad. So it's got fake canned tuna, and it's also got these fake chicken nuggets. And I just tried it, and honestly, I can't really tell the difference between regular chicken nuggets and these vegan ones. So that's kind of impressive. Now, this fake tuna is interesting. It's almost got the fishy flavor. I'll be honest, it's not something I'd eat normally. But the chicken nuggets I'd definitely eat more often. It's pretty good. Now, this is just a regular salad. I think it's got some sort of almost tastes like a Thousand Island dressing. And it's really good. And since I'm a fat guy, I got 2 meals. This is a umami stroganoff. So it's basically mushroomy noodles with mushrooms instead of meat. I put a bit of that cashew parmesan on it. That's very good, actually. Good texture. It's kind of a tough dough. There's some of these mushrooms in there. And it's actually really good. Vegan food doesn't have to be bad. What did you get?
I can't remember what it's called.
Is that
It was like mac and cheese, tuna, truffle oil, the best, and some little crispy bits on there as well.
I love crispy bits.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Not real tuna.
How's yours?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very nice. A bit spicy. But, yeah, it's good. Love it.
What is it? What's in yours?
Food. It's got these fake chicken bits. What's that? Spice that? I don't know what it is.
A spicy sauce.
It's just good and spicy.
So you need to know.
All right, so I got this Casablanca here. It's lime ice cream, like sherbet. It's got some avocado in it, mint and cinnamon with almond flakes and orange. It is fantastic. Not all desserts have to have dairy in them. We also got these Biscoff donuts, powdered sugar. And I've actually never had Biscoff. So you were saying it was A liquid biscuit,
It's
something?
a caramelized biscuit spread.
Okay.
So a caramelized biscuit they make into a spread.
Yeah.
Oh,
That looks sinister. Very good. Caramelly, soft, doughy, sugary, glorious stuff. So we discovered that one thing in particular we ate last night didn't digest the best.
no.
I think it was that tuna.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that was the only thing we both had that was the same. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean all vegan food's bad, of course, but I think those things are so highly processed, and I'd imagine it's a lot of bound up gluten and maybe some soy, but it turns into like glue in your gut.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
But I was actually surprised. Everything else was really good. I couldn't tell the difference with those chicken nuggets. The flavors and the vegetables and the textures of the pasta and everything was great.
Do you think if you hadn't been told it was vegan, would you have known that it was vegan?
The chicken nuggets, I wouldn't have. Yeah, and I've had, actually a lot of people don't know this. I was vegetarian for 16 years. So I've had a lot of those fake meats, and some sit with you, some don't. But the fake chicken nuggets were, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
And 2 of those years I was vegetarian. I was actually vegan. Oddly, this is when I was really unhealthy, because mostly my diet was just bread, cheese, and beer.
Yep, the old Czech diet.
Yeah, living in Czech Republic, and. I think a lot of people think of vegans as either someone who just munches on like rabbit food, vegetables and fruit and maybe some legumes, and they're just super skinny and weak, or they're the vegan junk food people who just find this processed stuff and they end up really fat and unhealthy.
Yeah.
But you're a good example of someone who does it properly, I would say, as a vegan athlete. You're not just eating vegetables and fruit, you'd have really low calorie intake, and it wouldn't support your training and your recovery or just your general health, right?
Yeah.
But clearly you're strong, you recover from your workouts, you can perform well. So what would you say your kind of secret is to that as a vegan athlete?
It's definitely been a balancing game. And I know when we were talking earlier and I mentioned that the first time I was vegan and there wasn't as many sort of, definitely not as many soy products available, and I found I wasn't eating anywhere near enough food. I wasn't training to the extent that I am now, but I was highly active, and my body weight was way too low for my height, I think less than 8 stone. And then that was the first time I was vegan. Then I went back to being veggie for a bit, and then the next time around when I actually became vegan, I was still breastfeeding my youngest, so for me the nutrition side was more important because I wanted to make sure that there were more junk foods available by this time, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just eating junk food because I knew that my milk was still supporting my child that was growing. So I paid more attention. Yes. I paid more attention to the nutritional value of what I was eating, and then when I started getting into CrossFit, that's when I started looking more at the protein side of stuff and learned a lot more about sort of how to eat well as a vegan. But I wouldn't say it was easy, and I do get frustrated when you see some vegan athletes saying that it's easy. It's not, because you have to go through an educational process to reach that point, whereas it's taken me years to get to the point where I am now.
And that brings you to a good point, because you have to respect the dedication that vegans have, because like I said, most people think that there are like these junk food vegans, and those are the ones who maybe have like the loudest voices when it comes to biases and preaching.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're like, hey, you're also obese and you're telling me how to be healthy, but where someone is like you have to respect that, because it's that extra effort. Tracking your macros, even if you are a meat eater, if you're new to it, and eating healthy is a challenge, but it really comes down to more habits. The information's out there.
Yeah.
But to do it as a vegan, the information's not out there that much, because you really just have these kind of pockets of veganism where it's like you're a terrible person if you eat meat, or just these kind of biases and this message, but there's no message around how you should eat if you're a high performing athlete.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different math game, because you know most of your proteins come with carbs or fats.
Yeah.
So in order for you to get your adequate protein, like we said, you're jacking up either carbs and fats. But you know that's not a problem, because you need the carbs for your fuel and performance.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think most people dislike vegans because of that loud voice, that extreme bias. And I've always said they're the only like diet cult, if you will. And I'm not speaking about you personally, but as like a whole, is portrayed as this kind of diet cult, like you have keto and carnivore and all these like different kind of just sects of nutrition.
Yeah.
They're the only diet cult that will wish you death if you don't eat the way they think you should eat. And you see that from the more extremists, but you don't get that from you at all.
Yeah.
You have a very reasonable approach, and you're respectful to others' decisions, right?
Yeah, and I've experienced that as a vegan from other vegans as well, like that my veganism isn't up to their level of veganism. So I mean, I always refer to them as the vegan police. But I've like joined like vegan Facebook groups and then had to leave them because that's massive, mate. Because some of the like hatred people were spewing at each other, and I was like, your common goal, assuming you're vegan for ethical reasons, which for me it is, it's about the animals. If your common goal is about the animals, then why are people attacking each other that are also vegan for having these different levels of veganism? And I find it bizarre. But I don't think it's helpful to preach your diet onto anyone. I think it's my choice, my decision. As a PT, many of my clients know that I'm vegan, but and sure, probably maybe like 30 to 40% of them are vegetarian or vegan themselves, but the others are not, and I'll still advise them nutritionally according to their diet. I would never push my choice upon someone else.
Right, you don't think it's the best for everybody, right?
No, absolutely not. And I think everyone needs to make their own decisions, and it's definitely not the best choice for everyone, because if you firstly you have to have a driving force behind your reasons for being vegan, and I definitely wouldn't promote it. I know some people use veganism as a way of excluding food groups to cut calories, and I think that's quite dangerous, because I don't think we should be excluding any food groups unless obviously, like me, you've got an ethical reasoning behind that.
Right.
But it shouldn't. I don't agree that it should be used as a means of weight loss in any way.
Right, I agree. I mean, like I said, there are a lot of fat vegans that are very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I'm the same. I don't think that you should view a food as bad. There's no real bad foods, but there's bad habits and bad diets, right? So you can have bad food in a perfectly healthy diet occasionally, or you can have a terrible diet with healthy food.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that people don't understand, because they're just putting things into these categories when it comes to food. And then, like you said, the vegans amongst each other are bickering. And then you've got these other different diet groups that are bickering.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to what you prefer and what you find works for you. And that's a process. It takes a long time to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I know, I was born and raised veggie, so I've never eaten meat.
Oh, okay.
But I've done stints of being vegan, gone back to being veggie.
But clearly it works for you, because I think a lot of people would see a vegan as a very weak and skinny person a lot of times because they don't eat meat, which, vegan protein, it works. Clearly there's vegan bodybuilders, there's vegan athletes who are in great shape, and clearly you are. You're muscular, you're strong. I mean, as a female, you did 5 pull-ups with 10% of your body weight. So what would you say to people who think that veganism makes you like skinny and weak?
I think that it can do, and can I do it in a minute? I think it can do, but that's an indicator that you haven't looked at your diet carefully, and you haven't really thought about what you're eating. But it's definitely very difficult to strike that balance between under-eating and overeating, or eating the wrong things, which I guess you get in probably any diet anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I became skinny, fat, and weak, and overtrained, and underfed, and sick as like a keto kind of carnivore guy many years ago. Yeah, just kind of skinny fat, and it was like I'm eating all the right foods, and I was focusing on the food groups and not the macro and the calorie intake.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with everyone.
No problem.
I think it's gonna bring some new insight and perspective to veganism. And we're not even trying to say you should be vegan or you should try veganism, but I think the biases and the bickering amongst people is just silly and nonsense. Because you have to have a respect for someone like her who's figured out a way for her morally and ethically based decisions around nutrition works, right? And you're not pushy, and you're just like, hey, this works for me, and some of my clients do it, some of them don't. If they prefer not to, that's cool. And you got to respect that, especially with the extra effort that it takes to figure out your nutrition. So thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Cool. Hey kids, do you want to be in a part here?
Yeah.
You can say something really cool.
Should we say it all together? How do you want to say it? Hit like and subscribe.
No, just hit that subscribe button. No, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button.
Okay, you say it then. You say it.
You say it as well.
You say it first. Tell me. Look at the camera and tell me how to do it, and this will be your practice run.
No, you say it first.
I can't remember what it was, Lovey.
Okay, just say like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Your turn.
I don't want it.